Great morning, everybody. Great morning, great morning, great morning. What's happening? We're sorry we're just a little bit late. Hey, Nikkei. Hey, Monty.
Good
What's going
morning.
on, Roz? Great to see everybody this morning. Can y'all do us a huge favor and share this out both on Facebook, also on um, YouTube? Obviously, we certainly want to include as many people as we possibly can. We're waiting to get up live on Zoom with Ray Johnson and Dominion.
Right.
And we're super excited that this morning's broadcast is a part of an extended and an open invitation to people, not only on our YouTube community, guys, but also for a special conference that we're a part of. And I'm just super excited about that. Tracy, good to see you. Great to see you. Great morning. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses, everybody. My name's Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. I'm sitting here next to the lovely light skin.
They can't see us.
I know they can.
Okay. I mean, you're saying you're sitting next
I
to
know
me.
it.
Okay. Well, I'm Sheri Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. It's good to be with you guys this morning.
Yep.
Hope everyone is having a wonderful week. I hope you guys had a good week this week. Things are opening up.
They are opening up, guys, real quick, and I'm sorry for throwing you off, Cherie. I'm doing a lot of things, and I'm working on our sound to make sure that we're good. So, YouTube, do us a huge favor. I need you guys to share this out. We're going to talk about some things relative to blending families. And if you guys know anything about that, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Ray, it looks like that we are live on Facebook as well. And so, guys, just so that you know, and Ray, I know you're going to tag me in our Facebook, on our Facebook page. But guys, if you see us on Facebook, can you share this out? Can you share this out? If you see us live on Facebook, can you do us a favor and share this out? I'm excited this morning, baby.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit of a rough start, but it's okay. And I want to slow down just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about some things that I think are significantly important. So again, we are a part of a bigger thing. And so talk to us a little bit, babe.
All right. Today is a special episode of Breakfast with the Brooks. We are being joined by the participants of Dominion Ministries.
Dominion Outreach.
Dominion
It's okay.
Outreach's family conference this year. And so the participants are joining us in a Zoom room. And so welcome everybody from Dominion and those that are participating in the workshop. We're going to be talking over the last, I guess this week, there have been several sessions by other facilitators as well as by ourselves, just dealing with family issues and the after effect of COVID.
Right.
And how it's affected families, how they've been able to navigate through different family issues during this period of time that we've been going through, that they've been able to rediscover some things, and some things have come to light.
Yep, absolutely.
As the result of COVID. And so today we're going to focus on blending families in the midst of, or in the aftermath of COVID-19. Now, I want to start off just saying that blending a family is difficult in normal times.
Yeah, yeah.
In normal situations, and I can only imagine the different challenges that people are having now, particularly with this COVID situation, with either not being able to see, your children, or having children in the home longer than normal. They came to visit for a weekend and they've been stuck for 3 months. So I'm sure there have been many challenges that people have faced, and also just even as couples, if you just recently got married, you just coming together as a family, being thrust into blending your family in a time when you don't have the outlet of going out of the house to go to work,
Right.
going to do the things that you normally do.
Right. So, guys, what and I know that's tough. One of the things, and I'm just kind of from a technical standpoint, if you're on Facebook, so that you know, we can't see your comments. And so if you are chiming in on Facebook, I need you to know that we cannot see your comments at the moment. So I just want to let you guys know. Ray, also, if you can go ahead and put us up in speaker view so that we can get a bigger picture of us. That way, at least we can potentially see, hopefully, a comment or two. Cherie may have to hop over onto Facebook because we can see our YouTube comments here on this screen. And then that way we can chime in with you. So for those of you guys who this is your first time to Breakfast with the Brookses, do me a favor, put hashtag first timer in the chat. Hashtag first timer in the chat. I'm going to slow all the way down so that we can really pace ourselves now that we kind of got the technical stuff worked out. Hey, Deirdre, good to see you. Tracy says your hair looks great. Nikkei says, what is going on with the hair situation? What about my hair?
You don't have
Nobody's complimenting me on my hair. Oh, I don't have hair. Is that what it is?
No.
Wow. So that's what it is. So here's what I want to do, guys. If you are blending a family, or you know someone who's blending a family, put a B in the chat. Put the letter B in the chat. If you are blending a family, or you know someone who's blending a family, I want you to put a B in the chat. And the reason why I want to do that, baby, is because I want to identify people who are blending a family. Can you define for us what blending a family is?
We define blending a family whenever you bring two individuals together who grew up in different environments, who were raised separately, who are coming from two different backgrounds, come together to try to become one as a family. That's one definition of blending a family. Another definition of blending is family when those two people come together and they have children from previous relationships, and they're bringing those children into that relationship. That is also a level of blending. So it's whenever you bring two people together, or people together from different backgrounds, from different upbringings together, to come together to unite as one family, that is blending a family. So it doesn't technically have to include children. Whenever you get married, you're blending.
Right.
When you come together because you both have different mindsets, you grew up differently, you have different ideas about certain things, you have to blend together first. And then if you have children, you have to blend together, and your children also have to blend together.
So I'm smiling because we're getting a couple of compliments. Thank you so much, Teresa. I can always count on my flamingo sister to show me some love. She said,
God.
Your goatee looks great, Glenn.
Oh,
I love it. So Deirdre put a B in the chat. Nikkei says, love the dome, Glenn. Love the dome. See, I'm feeling the love right here, guys. I'm really feeling the love. My guy Chris Bell said, listen, y'all need to hear this. God made, and I'm going to put this one up, God made only a few perfect heads. The rest, he gave hair. I love it. Only Chris Bell could say that. Shout out to our MAPS Relationship Academy. If you are a part of the MAPS Relationship Academy, whether you're part of the MMC, whether you're part of the MAPS family in terms of our personal development side of things, do me a favor, put a hashtag MAPS Rocks in the chat. Put a hashtag MAPS Rocks in the chat. I'm so excited, baby. We're ready to get into this content.
Yes.
7 tips. 7 tips. I want everybody to drop 7 tips in the chat. 7 tips on how you can successfully, and I want to underscore that word successfully, blend a family. When I define success, guys, when I define success, what I'm talking about is functionality.
Right.
I want you to put that in the chat. Functionality. Success is not about money. Success is not about perfection. Success is not about not making mistakes. We define success in relationships is functionality, high functionality. You are going to make mistakes over and over and over again. That's just the way it is. Life does not work in a way where we get to go through unscathed, right? And the truth of the matter is, the question becomes, how do you minimize the losses and how do you maximize the wins? I want y'all to hear that. How do you minimize the losses and how do you maximize the wins? When we talk about blending family, Sheri, you and I started out 21 years ago, actually even a little bit prior to that, because we were dating and we were very, very aware that if we were going to make this work, blending a family successfully had to be a part of the game plan.
Right. I think I had seen, we both had been married before. I had been married twice before. Glenn had been married once before. And I had, in total transparency, I had always said I would never date anybody that had children. So because I had seen the difficulties that people had experienced trying to blend a family. But when we met, because we were friends first, our relationship evolved into an actual relationship. It kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't looking for it. It just happened. But because I had seen the difficulty that people had in blending families, I made a decision very early on that if our children were not able to blend, if we weren't able to blend and merge that relationship where there was a level of respect, there was a level of relationship built outside of one another with our children, that we could not move forward, that we would not have been able to get married, because I knew that was critical.
Right.
That, raising my daughter, it was always, and she would attest to this, it was always, it's me and you.
Right.
But I knew that bringing someone else into that equation was going to take work because she had to be accepting. She had to be agreeable to the situation, because it was not only me getting married, it's also her getting married. And when we got married, we would celebrate our anniversary with the kids and be like, this is our anniversary of becoming a family, because it wasn't just us getting married.
Wow.
They were getting married too. And oftentimes, especially for our people in the church, when they're dating, and I think you should not expose your children to a lot of people when you're going through the dating process. But when you see that it's going in a direction that it looks like it's going to lead to something, you need to introduce your children to that person and let them develop a relationship with them and pay attention to that relationship, because that's going to give you signs on whether or not you will be able to blend successfully.
It's funny that you say that, because I remember in our situation, I actually met your daughter before I met you.
Right.
The circumstances were such that I was a part of a youth organization, and we actually had formed a youth choir. I was the station manager of a gospel radio station in D.C., and some of you guys, old school, may remember Heaven 1580 back in the day. And one of the things that we did is we formed this youth choir, and we basically opened it up to every kid in D.C. or the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area to come audition for the choir. Your daughter was the first person to audition for the choir, and that's how I met Shantae.
Right.
She and I, at 11 years old, began developing a mentor-mentee type relationship in the very beginning, along with all the other kids on the choir. And then I later met you.
Right.
So the good thing was for us is that I had already been establishing a relationship with Tay prior to. But here's the switch, and I need y'all to hear this. When it gets to the place that where you are developing a relationship with the child, right? The relationship that you have with the child and the adult, whether it's a man or a woman, is very different than each other. And we're going to talk about some things that are critical as a first step when it comes to blending a family. Number one, and if you're ready for this information, I want you to put number one, you need to focus on individual relationships. That is huge.
Right.
If you're going to successfully blend a family, there has to be room that's allowed. And I'm going to say allowed because oftentimes, when you come into a situation where you're blending, you have a relationship with your daughter, there is room you have to make for me to come in.
Right.
I have a relationship with my son. There is room that I have to make for you to come in and to give you guys freedom to move.
Right.
This is where individual relationships are critical, that you guys set out to build what an individual relationship could look like.
Right, and that has to be done intentionally. Just like you're dating that person, you need to take time, in a sense, to date that child, to develop your individual relationship with them. And that should start before you get married.
Yep.
That should start way before you get married, so that you guys can build some form of relationship. Because the worst thing that can happen is you get married, you come into the house, and now, especially if you're a man, you come in and now you're asserting your position on this child that doesn't have a relationship with you. That's not going to go well for you.
Not at all.
That's where you get those situations when the child's like, you're not my father.
You ain't my father.
You ain't going to be telling me what to do.
I don't have to listen to you.
Because now you've come in, and you got to remember, you're an invader coming into this home.
Not a space invader.
You're an invader, because they have their, like with me and my daughter, we had our home. We had our situation. It was me and her. And she knew it's me and you, boo. Ain't nobody coming up in here.
That's it.
And when we started dating,
we don't like him.
When we started dating, I made sure, she had already had a relationship with him, but when our friendship switched to dating,
that's the key.
I had to let her know, hey, our relationship is changing. So he's going to be around more. Him and his son, Justin, are going to be around more. And I want you to, now look at him as more than just your mentor, but he may become a part of our family. Right. And so she had to switch her mind and accept him in a new role.
To switch that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't mean to cut you off, but it actually leads into point number two. If you're ready for number two, I want you to put a number two in the chat. For those of you guys who are just hopping on, maybe you're joining us by way of Facebook. Shout out to the Dominion family. Shout out to Ray Johnson, the leadership there. for the family conference that you guys are doing. You guys are joining us by way of Zoom, and also those of you guys who are on Facebook. Do me a favor, share this out, tag somebody who needs information on how to blend a family. This is critical, guys. Sheri and I have been figuring this out for quite some time now. We wrote an entire book on it, from broken to blended to family. A lot of people, from broken to family to blended. A lot of people like to say blended family, and we like to say family blended.
Right.
And let me tell you why we say it that way.
Because when you
come on,
when you say I do, you become a family.
Period.
But that does not mean you're blended.
Say that again.
When you say I do, you become a family. But that does not make you blended.
Guys, let me say this so that you're super clear. The question becomes, how can two broken individuals come together, form a family because somebody said I do to the other person, and then spend the rest of their life blending that family? And that is a process of which we're going to lay out a couple of key points that will help you along that process. So we're going to give you 7 tips. Number 1, we said you're going to have to focus on the individual relationships. Everybody is an individual within a family unit. I need you guys to understand that. Mm-hmm. Just because we're one big family don't mean that we've lost our individuality. Mm-hmm. Y'all hear that? You need to lean into that one, guys. Say, yes, I got you, coach. Let me know that you're here. And the reason why I'm saying that that's important, guys, because Sheri, oftentimes there's this effort to make sure that everybody, quote, gets along. That often gets lost in the individuality of each person. Right. And what I want you guys to do is that becomes particularly important when you get to number 2. The number 2 tip is you need to support the children in their transitions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I need you to put that in the chat. You need to support the children in their transitions. Let me just be really candid with you guys. For a child to navigate mentally this idea of shifting, particularly if they have had a relationship or have a relationship with their biological parent who's no longer in the home, mm-hmm. through divorce, through whatever, however that looks. In their mind, they are trying to shift gears and find their place. Right. In their minds, they're trying to shift gears and find your place. Like, where do you fit in the scheme of things? This is one of the reasons why you and I very quickly moved away from the term step parent. Right. And the reason why is because we really believe that words matter. Mm-hmm. And so when you begin to associate yourself with a step of some kind, for children, we have found that also serves to keep the wedge there. Right, right. Because you're not real. You're a stepping stone. You're on my way to something. You're trying to be something different. You're not biological. You're not my real. And oftentimes, the reason why we want to make that distinction, and I certainly get it, is because parents are trying to show respect for the other parent. Parents are trying to say, okay, you're not my biological, you're my step. So what we like to do is change that word step to bonus. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because we want the child to understand that this is an addition. This is a good thing. Right. This is not something that is going to be optional. It's not a stepping stone to something or away from something, but it's a bonus. It's actually a good thing that you now have two mothers, in the sense that you have your biological mother and you have your bonus mom. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? She has a bonus son. I have a bonus daughter. Mm-hmm. This is a bonus. Y'all hear how the language right there off the break begins to sort of characterize or frame up how that transition is going to take place. Right, and also by being able to support your children in their transition is that you have to remember they're individuals. Just because you guys are married now, you got to remember their whole dynamic has changed. So now they're going from, if they were in our situation, so my daughter's biological father was not involved in her life. So it wasn't so much a transition on that end as far as her seeing her biological father and then seeing Glenn. But she went from it just being me and her to now having a father figure in the household who eventually became her father, who became her dad. So we had to allow her time to adapt to that, mm-hmm. to adapt to that change. But for Justin, it was different because he was living with his biological mother. He would normally visit with his dad every other weekend. And now when he was coming to visit, he was coming to visit a home with his dad, his bonus mother, and his bonus sister. Mm.
which was an entirely different dynamic because he was used to being an only child.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's coming into an environment, he's not the only child. And also, let's be honest, he's like, now there's this other adult who's telling me what to do. And I don't know if I like her like that.
Right. Oh, that's good, babe.
I don't know if I accept her telling me what to do like a mother,
Mm-hmm.
because she's not my mom. And so we had to allow him time to make that adjustment.
That's good.
We had to be respectful of, he went through seasons. There was a time where he and our relationship was really rough because he wasn't open
Mm-hmm.
to it. And we had to allow him to go through that. Now, what we don't do in that season, or we did not do, that did not mean that he got to disrespect me.
Right.
Now, you get to have your opinion, you get to go through what you're going through, but what you're not allowed to do is disrespect me. I respect you, you're going to respect me. There's going to be mutual respect here, but I understand you ain't feeling me all like that, and that's fine. I understand that, but you got to be respectful.
Sheri, do me a huge favor. Go on to Facebook. Make sure you tag me and share this to my page. Share this to the MAPS Relationship Academy page. Share this to all of our outlets, because I want everybody to hear this message. This is critical.
Okay.
Do you guys realize that 50%, just about quote close to 50% of first-time marriages are ending in divorce? A little bit north of 60% of second marriages are ending in divorce,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit north of 70% of third marriages end in divorce. And here's what I need you guys to understand. Think about the math on that for just 1 second. All it takes is for one person in that relationship to get connected with another person, either long-term dating or you are now married and you guys are a real thing, right? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, you are now moving closer towards blending and leaving traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you what I know to be true. We are finding that percentage-wise, more and more people are blending their family than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, because no one is paying attention to the dynamics of that, I think that we're leaving opportunities on the table, quite frankly, that give us chances to be able to make this go so much smoother than it is going, typically speaking. One of the things that we realize is that we had to give our kids time.
Right.
To make the adjustment. So when I talk about supporting children in their transitions, one of the things I want you guys to hear is that they need time.
Right.
See, you've had the opportunity to date, fall in love, have phone calls, emails, back and forth, texting,
Right.
inboxing, ... You've been building a relationship with this person.
Mm-hmm.
They have not.
Right.
They've been on the outside looking in. That is even if you've given them a window, quite
Mm-hmm.
frankly. So sometimes it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road before they ever get a chance to meet this person.
Right.
In person or otherwise. Well, you got a 6-month run on them.
Right.
At least
Right.
in terms of getting to know this person. So do me a huge favor. When you are attempting to blend your family, can you do yourself a favor? Grace your children.
Right.
Can you do yourself a favor and them a favor? Support them in their transition, which leads me to number 3. I want you to put a number 3 if you're ready for number 3 in this chat. Put it in the chat, number 3. And we're talking about, for those of you guys who just jumping on, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. This is a special edition, and we're sharing the stage today with Dominion Outreach Ministries. And I'm just super excited about what they do because this blended family conference that Sheri and I have been a part of for the last few days, we're going to actually have a panel discussion with some other folks later today on their platform. And we've been talking about family dynamics all week long.
Yes.
This morning, we wanted to basically turn the conversation here on Breakfast with the Brookses toward blending families, because this is a significant component that if you don't get this right, it will destroy your marriage.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all, please hear me.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't develop a way of, and I'm going to help you guys understand this as we go, if you don't develop a way to make a connection with the co-parent, this can destroy your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say a connection with the co-parent, meaning you have to understand, and this is a sidebar, this ain't even on our notes this morning, but when you're working in concert relationally with a child and a co-parent, Sheri, people have to remember that just because it's my ex, it's the child's current.
Right. 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 And so that their relationship did not end with their parent when you divorced. Your relationship ended. They still have a relationship with that parent. They get to still have a relationship with that parent, and you have to respect their relationship with that
all
parent.
day long.
Which means that you have to a degree, you have to figure out a way to be able to respect that other parent so that you can have some form of a relationship. And I'm not saying you got to be best friends.
Right.
But you have to be able to communicate with that other parent because your child has a relationship with that person.
And here's the problem. If you do not do that properly, can I tell you, you will be the sole what word can I use? It will be that blood will be on your hands,
yes.
How that relationship goes from there. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. As a parent, you're leading your child somewhere.
Right.
You're leading your child on how to communicate with their parent.
Right, and you want to help your child to not feel like they have to choose one parent over the other.
Absolutely.
And if they see the two of you at odds, they're going to feel like they have to choose.
Y'all are giving them an excuse. And here's what we know, Sheri. That means that the divide gets bigger. And that means the problems get huge. And that means navigating them becomes much more difficult. If y'all ready for number 3, we got a string of number 3s jumping in the chat. I see Teresa said she's ready for number 3. Chris said he's ready for number 3. Number 3 is something that's really, really important. I want you guys to learn how to use laughter to build closeness and reduce tension.
Don't be so serious all
Come
the time.
on, y'all. Lighten up.
Stop being commandant in the house.
Come on now. It's already a tough time. I want you to use laughter. And we're not saying you have to instantly become a comedian.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is I want you to look for light moments to be able to navigate the tension.
Right.
A lot of times when the tension comes in the room, I remember there were times where, I could feel the tension.
Mm-hmm.
And I am by nature a person who values fun. And I would break out in a joke or do something stupid on purpose,
right,
just to relieve the tension in the room. The tension could be my daughter just gets off of a phone call with her biological father.
Mm-hmm.
She is now feeling, quote, some type of way. By the way, I hate that saying. Anybody who knows me as a coach knows that I hate the word I'm feeling some type of way. Do me a favor.
What does that mean?
Put some language to that. Let's mature a little bit. Let's define what I'm feeling looks like, because until you can put words, even if I don't know how I'm feeling,
right,
I think I'm frustrated. Begin to put some language to it so that you can kind of navigate through it. But I digress. So at any rate, what I need you guys to understand that it becomes important. So Shantae could be on the phone with her biological dad. Justin could be on the phone with his biological mom. I could pick up that there's some tension in the room. I don't know what was said on the other end, right, but I can see that the child is feeling poorly. Maybe their mood just changed. I'll just put it that way. I don't know what they're doing, what's going on in their head. But what I will do is I will often lean into the tension with laughter. Right. I would lean into the tension with, hey, y'all want to go get some ice cream out the blue?
Right.
It's a Saturday morning. We haven't even had breakfast yet. You hear how she just laughed? Right. That's just funny thinking about it. Right. We're going for ice cream, Dad, but we haven't had breakfast. Well, let me help you understand. I found this little bistro spot that serves a mean double dip, and that they also have breakfast. But we're gonna do all that. Y'all want to ride? Yeah, let's go.
Right.
I've leaned into the tension with a light moment. That was calculated.
Right.
I was famous for doing stuff like that.
Right, and even just being able to connect with your child. So if they're in their room, if they isolate themselves in the room playing video games, go in and play with them. You might be horrible at the game.
And that's how you lead. Hey,
but
what
you're
are you
breaking
doing?
the ice.
Teach me how to do that. How do you do that?
And one thing that our kids, and this is one thing we had to adjust. We had to make a changes. Everything doesn't have to be a teachable moment.
Please say that again.
Everything does not have to be a teachable moment. Because we were very intentional in raising our kids, oftentimes conversations that we would have with them it would lean towards it turning into a teachable moment. And I think it was Justin that said it, or was it Shantae? One of them told us at one point in time, it's like, does everything have to be a teachable moment? We'd be like, oh.
It was like,
we didn't mean it to be that way.
Right.
So we realized we had to lighten up.
Right.
Stop taking everything so serious. Stop making everything a serious moment. Sometimes they just talking just to be talking.
Absolutely.
Let them share. Let them get it out, because what will happen is if you're serious all the time, you're losing opportunities to connect with your child.
Ooh, say
Remember,
that again.
they are children. Children play. Children are not serious.
Yes.
Children are not going through daily tasks every day. They're children. So you have to be childlike in order to build a relationship with your children. And so be childlike. Stop being the CEO. When you come home, you need to revert back to your 10-year-old self to relate to your 10-year-old
child. Lighten up a little bit, because at the end of the day, guys, children learn through play.
Yes.
I don't care how old they are. Mm-hmm. Children learn through light moments. They learn through play. That's how they process. And when we can learn to lighten up, oftentimes we'll find that the tension eases up a little bit.
And it also gives them an opportunity to see you be vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because they get to see a side of you that they don't normally see.
Absolutely. If you're ready for number 4, put number 4 in the chat. I hope this is helping you. If this is helping you, say, yes, coach, this is helping me. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Do something. I don't know if you got it, a thumbs up emoji. Team iOS, put your thumbs up emoji in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. So number 4, babe, I want everybody to really understand that this is a journey, guys. For those of you guys who are just jumping in the room, my name is Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a relationship coach. My wife and I created an online relationship academy 3.5 years ago. It'll be 4 years this January, called MAPS, Marriages and Parenting Successfully. In that online group coaching environment, what we do is we take people through what it looks like to grow their relationships with great intentionality. Mm-hmm. We describe successful relationships or winning relationships that are relationships that are highly functional. I need y'all to understand that. This is not about perfection.
Right.
This is not about not losing. This is about how to lose and learn a lesson. This is about when you get a setback, how do you handle that? This is about when you're winning, not gloating or not becoming puffed up and prideful because you got it going on and the co-parent don't. Well, they just special. Watch your mouth. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Watch your mouth. Your children are listening, and more importantly, they are learning by what you do, not what you say. And so this is going to be critical for step number 4. I see a string of number 4s. I want to get into this, baby. But when you are in a blended family situation, you have to find people that will listen to you. And Sheri, what I want people to understand is that talking about the stresses of a blended family is critical to surviving it.
Right. You can't figure this out by yourself.
Please say that again.
You need to talk to other people who are blending a family, that are successful, that are having some successes in their blending, and share the stuff that you're going through. Don't hold this stuff in and try to figure it out on your own. None of us are taught how to blend a family unless you were raised in a blended family that was successfully blending.
Yes.
You're not going to know how to do different things. And also, the thing you have to remember, and this is one thing for me that was essential, I never raised a son. I know how to raise my daughter because I raised her from infancy to an adult. When Justin came into my life, he was 4 years old. I knew nothing about raising a boy at all. Mm-hmm. He was an alien to me. I did not understand the way that he thought. I didn't understand the way that he moved.
Right.
I thought it was difficult in the beginning because I'm like, what is wrong with him?
Right. Why does he do that? Why does he sound that way?
Why is he always doing that? Why? Because I never raised a boy.
Absolutely.
And so I did not understand how to raise a boy. And also in the dynamics that, this is my bonus son. Mm-hmm. How do I build a bridge with him while also learning to understand him? I had to reach out to other people that had sons to be able to give me guidance. No, that's normal. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with him. He's not
a boy.
He's not special. He's a boy. But also to help me how to handle certain situations when dealing with him because I had never done it before.
Absolutely.
And I think we take that for granted often. And even if you do gain a bonus child that's the same sex as yours, they're not your child. Mm-hmm. So in the fact that you didn't raise them from infancy. So because with my daughter, I raised her, there are certain things that I instilled in her. Mm. There are certain things, she knew how I moved. She knew how I interacted. We knew each other at a base level. Mm-hmm. Even when he came into the house, we didn't know each other that way because I did not raise him from a child, from an infant. I did not have him. I didn't rock him, when he was an infant.
Right.
So there were different things. There was a level of understanding that we just did not have. We had to develop.
So guys, when we're talking about finding someone to listen to you, we're not only talking about people who are doing what you're doing successfully, but this is where you may need to seek out a mediator, someone who can help you navigate some of the things that are a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not tangible. They're kind of not really seen. They're just really behind the scenes stuff that you just don't quite pick up on. This is where sometimes when you get a coach or when you go to counseling or when you seek out a therapist, when you seek out someone who can help you navigate those tough little places that you don't quite see. I call it speaking into your blind spots. You need someone who can coach you through those blinding areas that you just don't pick up on. And as a result of that, you would never know. So I want you guys to really pay attention to that. When you're blending a family, it's important for you to, find someone that can listen to you. If you're ready for number 5, let's put number 5 in the chat. Number 5. Is this helping you? Yes, if it's helping you. No, if it's not. I'm okay with no. It's all right because I need it. Feedback is always good. I love it. If this is helping you, I want you to put a yes in the chat. If it's not, and maybe you have a question, maybe we've not touched on something that is going on in your house.
Right.
I need you to put that in the chat. Does that make sense, guys? Ray Johnson is giving me all kind of thumbs up. I know it. He said it's right on point, Coach. You're doing all right. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, my friend. Guys, listen. Number 5, and I see number 5 showing up in the chat. Is this, guys? I want you guys to find activities that unite and not alienate the bonus children or the bonus co-parents or the bonus parents. Listen to me. Find activities that unite, not alienate. And the reason why I say that is, guys, because when you begin to look for things that bring y'all together, what you're doing is fostering an environment for growth.
Right.
And babe, I don't think that people understand that your environment has everything to do with your growth potential.
Right. I think that what happens is that people, when you get married and you're coming together, with bonus children, you're used to your normal routine. So if every Saturday me and my daughter would go to the mall or whatever, and so when Justin's over, I'm like, okay, well, we going to the mall, and I leave him, and I never take him with me, or I never find an activity that we can all do together on Saturday. He's going to feel left out.
Yep.
Or if Glenn and Justin, they did something
We're
together.
used to getting up and going fishing, whatever.
Right, and he never invites me and Shantae. We're gonna feel like you're gonna still feel like you're separate, even though you're living in the home together.
You need to slow down and say that one again, girl.
And so, if you continue doing separate activities as separate households like you were before, you're not gonna blend, and it's gonna make the other individuals feel alienated. I'm gonna feel like you're not including me, so y'all just doing y'all own thing. So y'all go ahead. So, and that leads to now the bonus parents saying, well, I'm not going to be, you deal with your child.
Wow.
That's your child.
That's it.
That's your son.
That's
your daughter.
Y'all hear that?
Because now you've created an environment of separation instead of you coming together and saying, okay, so we used to do this every Saturday. So instead of doing that every Saturday, why don't we all go out to breakfast together?
Or here's another thought. What would you guys like to do today?
Right.
What do y'all want to do today? Normally we go and we do this, that, and the third. I want us to do something together. Let's do something together. And if they can't decide, do both.
Right.
Hello?
Right.
If they can't decide, do both. I want to go to McDonald's. Well, I want to go to Wendy's. Well, let's do both. I end the argument right there. You know how we do both? Let's go to the food court where y'all can choose anything you want, or that kind of an environment. Y'all all get what you want to eat, and we come back to the table. You got your chicken, I got my fish. You got your salad because you doing the vegetarian thing. We all good. Ain't nobody fighting. Guys, let me help y'all understand. When it comes to blending family, Sheri, I think that people don't understand that the activities that you do that unite you foster an environment that allows you to grow into liking each other.
Right.
Because now you are creating a scenario by which it's not about the thing you're doing.
Right.
It's about the people you're
doing
with.
It together. Right. And I know one thing that we used to do was that when we would allow them to, on the weekends when Justin was with us before he came to live with us full time, we would allow them to choose, like, okay, this week you get to choose what we're going to do on Friday. Shantae, next week you get to choose what we're going to do. So we would let them dictate, basically what we were going to do. But they would take turns.
Yes.
So each of them was driving the ship. So neither of them ever felt like, well, we always do what Justin want to do. Or we always do what Shantae want to do. We never do what I want to do. So we would alternate so that everybody felt included. And we would do things together. I think we did a lot of stuff together. We very rarely did.
Rarely.
We would take time and spend individual time with them.
Right.
But as a family, it was never like when we're going to leave somebody home and then go, leave them out. The only challenge that we, I won't say a challenge, the thing that we did experience was that on weekends when Justin was not with us, and, we may do something that weekend and he would feel like he was left out from that. But that's why we would always try to make it up, in a sense, when he was with us, to make sure that we were doing things too, so he didn't feel like he was missing out.
Yeah,
when he wasn't with us.
No doubt. Dwayne said this is excellent. Sunita said facts. I appreciate that, guys. Listen, for those of you guys who are just hopping in, maybe you're not aware, well, who are these people and where do they come from and what do they do? Sheri and I are relationship coaches. We've written 7 books between the two of us. Since 2011, we probably, and I'm just saying this for a number so that you can get an idea of how many people we've reached. We've sold well over 30,000 copies of the books that we've written since 2011. And I'm saying that not so that you can calculate dollars, but so that you can calculate reach. Right. We do this all the time. This is all we do every day, all day. And if you want to get an opportunity, maybe you need a coach, maybe you need a community, maybe you need a tribe, and you need a group of people to grow with and can strategize you through growing a relationship on purpose, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in your dating, whether it's in your singleness, whether it's as an individual, man or woman, co-parenting, whatever your situation look like, relationally speaking, we probably can help you through it. I want you guys to go to GlennPBrooksJr.com, www.GlennPBrooksJr.com, and sign up for what we call a free discovery session. And what that does is it schedules a 15-minute time with us, and we can sit on a Zoom call, and literally talk through how we can help you. We may not be a fit, but if we are, we certainly want to get it in with you and do some work and help you to grow and go to the next level. Today, we're part of a larger conference. Thank God for what Ray Johnson, Pastor Dr. Ray Johnson, is doing over at Dominion Outreach Worship Center. And we're just excited about who they are, what they do, why they do it, and who they do it for. This talk that we're doing is a part of a larger event. They're here on a Zoom call. Some of them are joining by Facebook. And so we just want to welcome you to the Breakfast with the Brookses family this morning. And we're talking about blending families. We're talking about 7 tips that can help you successfully blend a family. Number 1, for those...
someone to listen to. That means reach out to somebody and talk to. Don't try to figure this out by yourself. And number 5 was find activities that unite, not alienate, your bonus children and the bonus parent. Right.
If you're ready for number 6, put a number 6 in the chat, guys. We're getting ready to go. We're going to finish up here in the next few minutes. We're going to be coming back at 12 noon on Dominion's platform on their Zoom room. There'll be more information on how you can be a part of that. I'm not sure if we'll be streaming that one live, but definitely, okay, so Ray said that we'll definitely be streaming that one live. So stick around to our pages, whatever one you're on now. We'll be sharing that out, but we're going to have a panel discussion with all of the participants that took place this week, because there's other people that have spoken on family dynamics, and it'll be a great opportunity for you to ask questions in the whole 9 yards. But number 6, I'm starting to see some 6s show up in the chat. Number 6, guys, is I want you to understand that you need to always, and I don't usually use the word always or never.
Always.
But in this case, you need to always speak of other parents with respect. I need y'all to understand that.
Always.
You need to speak of the other parent with respect. We alluded to... Come on, babe.
I don't care if you don't like them. I don't care how y'all relationship ended. I don't care if they cut you physically. I don't care. When it comes to you trying to blend a family and you have children,
if that's your goal,
if you have children with that other parent, you must always speak of them with respect. The most damaging thing you can do is talk negatively or disrespectful about their parent, because that is their parent. I don't care how you feel about them. That is their parent. Think about if somebody talk bad about your mom. You better not say nothing bad about my mother.
Right. Wait a minute, hold up.
Are you talking about my mother?
Those fighting words.
So why do you think you can do that to your child?
And here's the problem. Here's the problem, Sheri. As a child, they can't fight you.
Right. They can't say that to you.
As a child.
But no, they feel it.
Imagine this, guys. I need y'all to hear this. This is so important. You have a 10-year-old child that you are verbally disrespecting their mother or their father. That 10-year-old child is pissed. They are seething. They're angry. But because you're their parent and you supply their needs.
And you bigger than them.
They can't say nothing. Can you imagine what that does to the psyche of a child? Can you imagine? I think of a young boy or a man child. He has this nature in him to want to protect and provide. Can you see how you are damaging his ability to do that? You are hampering his effectiveness to do that. You are actually altering his ego and altering his whole psyche on how now he feels less than. Now he feels like a little punk. Now he feels like he's passive. Now he feels like he's let his mother down because you are disrespectful to his mother. And his mother's not around.
Right.
You're talking to your wife. This is breakfast. And you're saying, yeah, she called up last night. Or you're in your room. The kids you don't think are in earshot.
Yeah, let me address that. If your child is in your house, they can hear you.
Say that again, Sheri.
If they in the house, they can hear you.
Say that again.
Unless you got a soundproof bedroom.
A panic room for a bedroom.
They can hear you.
And here's what I will tell you. Even if they ain't in the house, they can feel you.
Right. They can feel
They can feel the vibe when something's off.
Right.
They can feel the energy in the room when something just went wrong.
Right.
Y'all was in the panic room arguing where they can't physically hear you. Talking about their mother any old kind of way. And then you come out the room and now you go to breakfast and you thinking
you got
everything good. You think children don't pick that up? Are you crazy? Here's the problem. People forget that children are people. They're just little people.
Right.
But they have all the reasoning ability, all of the perception. They have feelings, all of that. Now, they may not have words yet to articulate how they feel. But here's what you can best believe. And here's what we know about children, babe. You may not know it now how they felt. But give it some time. You gonna know.
Right. And the reality is when you and your spouse, y'all home, you got the bonus kids there. Let's go in the room and talk. Y'all go in the room. Y'all go close the door.
Y'all, we be right back. We got to go talk. They already know.
9 times out of 10, they have come upstairs very quietly.
They at the bottom of the steps. They ain't even came upstairs.
They're listening. Because number one, they're trying to figure out, are you talking about them?
Yep. With their inquisitive self.
So they hear you. They hear the conversation. And Glenn talked about, for a man child, but even for a female child, if you're talking about their father, the thing you have to remember, every little girl wants to be a daddy's girl. So they hold their father at a high respect. My daughter, even though her father was not physically in her life from the time she was about 6, she still had him on, she had a high regard for this man because that's her father. And so even though he was absent for 10, 12 years out of her life. And you trying to figure out why does he have such a regard for this man? That's her father. Right. So whenever he would reach out, she'd be all excited and they'd have a conversation and then he'd fade to black again. But I knew that she had to come to her own decision on who he was. Yes. And what the meaning behind that was. And she didn't come to that until she was about 18. But she had to come to that. I couldn't give her my opinion of him or why he wasn't there. So I could not speak negatively about him at all. Yep. And I never did. Yep. I let her come to her own conclusions. When he would come through, her heart would be broken. I'd sit there, I'd hold her, I'd hug her, I'd, tell her he loved her. He just wasn't able to be there for her right now. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew that for her, that's her father.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what I think or what my opinion is. That's her father, and I have to respect that. I have to respect her relationship and her connection to him regardless.
And on the last thing I'll say on this is that what children really want in their parents or for their parents, they want them to get along.
Right.
Can I tell you, at one point, I remember when I was a youth pastor, I remember reading a statistic that said one of the number one desire for a 14-year-old was harmony in their home.
Right.
And I never will forget that stat. And it messed me up because it made me understand how fragile the mind of a child is. Mm-hmm. And how what we're doing, if we're not careful, guys, is that we are creating the environment for them to be shaped in a way that we can't always undo.
Right.
Can I help y'all understand? One of the passions that Sheri and I have, and I know that I came to this conclusion years ago, is that the work that we do, and the reason we go so hard in the paint in our MAPS Relationship Academy on calls like this, and we talk so plain, is that I heard Pam Leo is a psychologist, and years ago, I read this quote, and it messed me up. She said, we should raise children that don't have to recover from their childhoods. Mm-hmm. I need y'all to hear that. We should be a part of a process of raising children that don't have to recover from their childhood. And I think the biggest thing for me, babe, is thinking that I was culpable. In other words, that my child could grow up in an environment where they can spend the rest of their life having to recover from their childhood because I was callous.
Right.
Or I was not thinking, or I was being selfish. Mm-hmm. Guys, I understand when we know better, we do better. Here's what we're going to submit to you. After today, you know better.
Right.
Hello? You coach with us, you definitely going to know better. And the goal is going to be so that you can do better. If you're ready for number 7, it's the last one, and then we're out of here until 12 o'clock or later on today. We're going to do a panel discussion. We'll be back with a whole group of professionals, people who are doing this stuff in the real world, and they're getting it done. But I want you to put number 7 in the chat. And this is going to be a light one. It's going to be a good one. If you've enjoyed this, please put yes. I enjoyed it, or I've had a good time. This has been a good one, Coach. Thank you so much. We appreciate y'all showing. Let us know something that you have been able to get some value out of what we've been talking about this morning. But here's what I want you to do. Number 7 is please, please, find a respite from the storm. Find a respite. Find a resting place. Find a place where you can retreat from the storm of blending families. Can I tell you, this is a never-ending process. I often tell people or characterize blending family like making a smoothie.
Right.
When you make a smoothie, what you do is you put all of the fruit, if it's strawberry or bananas, or I like peanut butter, you throw a little almond milk in the thing, and maybe you throw some spinach on there, and you push blend. Here's what I'm going to promise you guys. If you stop or you take your finger off of blending, it does what? It all settles. Mm-hmm. And then it looks like something that don't nobody really want to drink.
Because it's separating.
It starts separating. It starts doing stuff.
If it sits too long.
If it sits too long. So in order for that smoothie to blend thoroughly, you have to keep blending. And then after you stop blending, you need to pour it. You need to put it somewhere. You need to consume it. What am I saying here? Is that blending a relationship is very similar to that in the respect that just because they get older don't mean I stop the blending process.
Right. You're going to be blending the rest of your life. You know, your family is going to continue to blend because as your children grow, as they age, as your relationship changes over time, you have to continue to blend. But the key thing with finding respite from the storm is like, if you think about a blender, if you keep that blender running, the engine's going to burn out.
Ooh, that's good, Sheri. See, that's why I mess with her.
The engine's going to burn out, so you have to take breaks.
That's good.
You have to take time so that you don't burn up.
Oh, that's
So that
good.
means you need to get some time to yourself. you guys need to maybe go away, plan a vacation, for just the two of you, so that you can get a time of rest, so that you can refresh yourself.
Right.
To come back and get back in that grind, because this is a grind.
Yep, no doubt.
Blending a family, it takes work. You have to be intentional. It's not going to just happen.
100%.
And that constant, the blending process can be wearisome.
Absolutely.
It's a never-ending process that's going to be going on, and so you're going to have to take time to get alone, to get you some time to refresh. And sometimes that's you by yourself. Sometimes it's you and your spouse. And then, come back, refreshed, ready to hit it, ready to get back in the game again.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, here's what we know, guys. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. We always like to say, guys, and I got it on my shirt today, we all need some help. Y'all be good. Let's talk today at 12 noon. For those of you guys on YouTube, we're going to sign off. We normally try to keep you guys about 45 minutes to an hour. We may stick around a little bit on a Zoom call and see if we can't connect with these guys for a few moments on this conference. But I want you guys to rejoin us. Definitely, we won't be here live on YouTube, but we will be live on our Facebook page. So if you have not followed us on Facebook, definitely do that, and we will go from there. Facebook.com/Glenn P. Brooks Jr. Get us there, and or Breakfast with the Brookses, and we will go from there. Y'all be good.
Y'all have a great Saturday.
At the end of the day, we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk next week.
Bye, guys.